Game started.
Okay, Thor Ribbio from Argentina. Okay, let's just play e4, e5. See what we get. I got a King's Gambit last time I played this, so maybe we'll get a regular e4, e5 opening. More normal, rather. It's nothing irregular about the King's Gambit, just not the most common opening. Okay, so White has just played d3 to defend the center and lock in his bishop. That also opens up the diagonal of the dark squared bishop so we can pin my knight when it comes to f6. And I didn't want to allow that pin. I want to develop my bishop outside the pawn chain. Try and get it more active here. So I played this move h6 to stop that. Now, I think I'm going to bring my knight over to the king side so I can play the move c6 and d5. And I totally neglected to defend that pawn, didn't I? Yep, looks like I did. Okay, let's castle. I don't know. I'll treat this like a gambit and see what happens. Obviously, it was unintended, but maybe I get something out of it. So my plan was to play c3, c6, and d5. Takes, knight takes, knight takes. Yeah, so I can get a knight here, and he'll have a sort of backwards d-pawn. Might not be too bad. And I'll open up a line for my light squared bishop, which right now is kind of imprisoned. I was going to travel with the knight to g6, but I don't like that anymore because of his knight. I was going to travel with my knight, to g6, but he could just take it and mess with my pawns a little bit. So this is what I want to do. So now I've got an open line for the light squared bishop and the dark squared bishop. And this knight is loose, and I'm hoping it'll become a target at some point. Like, for example, if I were to exchange off this pawn and he were to move his rook, then I would have queen to queen to d4 with a double threat against the knight and the pawn on f2. It's an idea here. So I take now. He will take back with the pawn or the knight. Yeah, that pawn's getting a bit annoying there. I mean, the knight. The knight is getting annoying there. But if I play queen here... Hard to say. Okay, let's develop the bishop. And maybe try and... I'm not really threatening to win a pawn there, am I? I'm just... So this knight on e7 is a bad piece. It can't go to g6 because of his knight. Okay, I'm going to have to try and get rid of that knight. In spite of it being a juicy target, I can't find any way to exploit it right now. So I'm just going to try and chase it away. Okay, so he went there, attacking my bishop. Let's see, bishop takes knight, bishop takes, pawn takes. Yeah, it doesn't leave him with any weak pawns, unfortunately. And it leaves me with a exposed knight. So I guess I have to play knight g6. Although, at least the good news is I can play knight g6 without getting my pawns messed up on the king side any worse than they already are. Attacking. The knight on f6. So where is that guy going? maybe here. Yeah, now maybe taking on c4 is an idea to leave this advanced e-pawn somewhat of a target. So pawn takes, queen c7, and I'll have three guys on the e-pawn. Maybe it's something. Got to play for something when you make a mistake early like that. Okay, so he gave up a pawn. I mean, I was planning to play that anyway, and when he pushed forward, he left that undefended, underdefended. Okay, so still queen c7 and rook to d8. That's what I'm thinking. Just try to blockade these pawns, and with the rook on the d file opposite his queen, maybe put some pressure on the d pawn there. Actually threatening to take the queen c7, rook d8 threatens knight takes. Because of the pin, except with his bishop there's no pin, but would have. If he moves that bishop, there's a potential threat there. And rook on d8 is a good square anyway. So I got my I got my pawn back. He moved the bishop there and back. That's kind of funny. So now I am threatening. Knight takes e5. And he unpinned with the queen. That was good. So if I play the move c5, he can play, I play c5, he plays d5, I can take it. Play c5, he takes, I take back with the knight or the queen. I just want to kind of isolate this e-pawn here and make it weaker. So that's my idea, to undermine the center. Typical undermining move, this c5 push. And I need to take because, well, that's the best continuation. That's how I get this pawn isolated, is by taking the d pawn. And then, however he captures, this e pawn is now under defended, so I can win the e pawn. This is loose. The a pawn is loose. Okay, so knight takes, knight takes, knight takes, and then bishop here. Pawn here maybe traps the bishop. Okay. That's a common trick. Bishop takes a7, pawn to b6, with the queen right here holding onto the pawn and attacking the bishop, and it's trapped. Well, what can be played now? He can take the knight. Oh, he went for that. He went for the trap. Okay. That must be punished. To quote Chess Explained, you can't allow people to get away with stuff like that. So even if I take here, yeah, the knight's still defended by the other knight, so I'm still okay. Ah, he can defend. He can defend. I can attack it again. Anyway, my point is the queen's not overloaded. It's attacking here, and the knight is defended by the other knight, so I don't think I've got anything loose in this position. The pawn. Well, even that pawn is defended, isn't it? So, oh, he goes after the pawn. That makes sense. Let's, I guess I would rather take with the rook. That forces his queen to move, and he can't take the pawn. And then I can play b5 and just hold on to my ill-gotten gains. Maybe not the best move, but now I'm just a piece up, so I should be winning. Should be. Okay, let's get the get the knight off, and that was also a liability. It was a target on e5, so getting rid of it is good. And get the rook out. So we get all your pieces in the game. Yeah, pawns are even, and I'm just a knight up. So, if nothing else goes wrong, don't overlook anything else. I should be okay. Okay, so bishop to d5 is an idea, just opposing his bishop. He could just move it. Queen to c8, so I can bring the other rook over to the d file. And also maybe threaten on h3 perhaps. Or knight f4 first. Knight f4, and I'm threatened to take either with the bishop or the knight. And also supports bishop f5 hitting the queen. So he's going after my knight. Okay, so knight f5 hits the bishop. I have a loose rook over here, so maybe that could be the basis of some tactics by white. My idea was to bring it over and have it come down. But if I bring it over right away, it's in the way of the queen. Okay, so he goes for the trade. This is good for me. I'm picking up a pawn here. Yeah, I was wondering if the queen can hop on this diagonal somewhere, but it can't easily get there. And now I can bring my rook over. Get all my pieces organized. He's going to... Okay, so I have a move like this. I hadn't spotted that tactic before, actually. He can pin the knight. Rook here, pinning the knight. Yeah. So it wasn't an actual working tactic, but at least it got the knight out of trouble with the tempo. I mean, it was a tactic that didn't actually win material. Okay, so now I want to gang up on the this file here. Oh no, this is a tactic that works. So I could have just grabbed the rook, but I was seeing an opportunity for a mate. The queen moves, and then I have queen here check, and checkmate. And I needed the rook here first to guard this escape square. So if it works, that's a nice combination. Yeah, I don't see how he can stop queen h3 check. That's happening next move, and after that, actually, it's already checkmate.
Checkmate.
There is no escape square. So kind of a cool mate with the knight, the rook, and the queen cooperating to guard all the squares. Hope you guys like that. I'm going to upload this and do a post-mortem as usual. See you later. Bye.